Hello, and welcome to Breast Cancer Conversations, a podcast brought to you by survivingbreastcancer.org. I am Laura Carfing, breast cancer survivor and founder of survivingbreastcancer.org, a nonprofit organization providing community, education, and resources to empower those diagnosed with breast cancer and their caregivers from day one and beyond. Hello, my friends, and welcome to Breast Cancer Conversations. I am so excited you are here today because we have kind of some exciting news. One of our dear colleagues who is interning with survivingbreastcancer.org, Sanya Bawa, is here, and she has taken on so many exciting projects throughout her time at SBC, but in particular and most recently, she has joined our podcast team and has been going out conducting interviews, meeting members in our community, members who are diagnosed with breast cancer, and also connecting with physicians and oncologists and medical professionals so we can really get into the weeds, if you will, of understanding not just the patient side of treatment, but also what's going on from the medical side when we're putting together cancer treatment plans and really being able to develop that strong relationship and bond between the patient and the medical team. In today's episode, Sanya interviews Gracita, a dedicated chemotherapy nurse. Gracita was diagnosed in February of 2022 when she discovered a lump during her self-breast exam. She underwent surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy. Gracita's journey from the Bahamas to Haiti and eventually to the U.S. at the age of 15 is a testament to her innate desire to help others. As a chemotherapy nurse, she says, "I can rejoice when they rejoice. I cry when they cry." Before we get started in today's amazing conversation, I just want to remind everyone that at survivingbreastcancer.org, we offer a variety of free programs and services available to you. Hop on over to survivingbreastcancer.org/events, where you can find everything from meditation classes. You can find information on expressive writing, join one of our art therapy classes, or a variety of our support groups, including specific support groups for inflammatory breast cancer as well as metastatic disease. There's so much to offer, so I hope you check out our resources on our website. But without further ado, welcome to the conversation.
Good morning, everybody. We are here with Dr. Jones and Gracita. My name is Sanya. I am an intern at survivingbreastcancer.com. And I am so glad to be joined by these two lovely women. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Gracita Eugene. I just completed my treatment, rang the bell on October 3rd, and I work as an RN at Memorial Hermann. I also am married with my husband for about 12 years, and we have one son who is 11 years old.
And hi, my name is Dr. Jessica Jones. I'm a physician with UT Physician. I'm a breast oncologist, having the honor of being part of Gracita's journey.
Thank you guys so much again for joining me today. I am so happy to be here with you and so happy to talk about Gracita's journey as both being a survivor and also being a chemotherapy nurse. I'm so happy to have you guys here today. So I have a couple questions here for you, Gracita, specifically. So thank you again for joining us. Could you share a little bit more about your personal breast cancer journey, starting from the discovery of the lump during a self-exam to the bell ringing ceremony, marking the end of your treatment?
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. It is a journey, like we say it is. Since I've been 16 years old, I've been doing self-breast exam. Not because at that time I did not have anyone in my family who had it, but I think somebody came to our church and they were talking about it. And so then it was a ritual for me every month. I did it, and until November of 2021, when I did the exam while I was in the shower, and I found the lump. And so I was like, oh, wow. I didn't think negatively about it, so I said, well, this is something I have to investigate, of course. So I had to go to a family event. So we went to the event. I didn't tell my husband. I didn't tell anyone. And then after I came back, December. So I had a NP oncologist NP work on our floor, and I asked them. I said, "Hey, this is what I found. So can you tell me who is the best person I need to check?" And then he said, "Without any doubt, you need to see Dr. Jones." And then I said, "Okay." And then he gave me the number. I never called. And then a few weeks later, that was January. And then I saw him and said, "Hey, hi, did you set up the appointment?" But what I did, I went onto the website and I set up all the information. And so I called for the appointment. He says, "Well, okay." And then all of a sudden, one day, somebody called me and said, "Oh, somebody referred you to Dr. Jones." That was like February now. So I was a little bit, I don't know if I was just being dismissal about it, or being afraid about it to find out what it is, or just like waiting for God to do something, like it disappear. And so then I received a call and said, "Somebody consulted Dr. John for you too." I said, "Oh, yes." And so that's how the journey with Dr. John started. And so after all the testing, I mean, I had to say, when I met Dr. Jones, wow, she has positive VT of like attacking this thing. We don't know what it is, but we're going to work on it to find out what it is and get to the bottom. And I really appreciate that about Dr. Jones. And so that's how the journey started. And I think we were diagnosed first with benign, because all the scans and mammogram, everything came back negative. And so we were really looking to a positive prognosis. But after surgery, um, we after send the I guess the tissue to pathology, then something else was found, and then we decided to bilateral breast reduction, so that we could remove the lump on the left breast, which is where we found the lump, and then did a lymph node biopsy to find out if there was any spreading to the body. And from there, we started our chemo treatment. I mean, our plan, I guess, for the treatment plan. And we did chemotherapy for about 3 months, which is one treatment every week, starting from October of 2022 to December. And then we did a 1 year of Kangenti, which I completed in October 3rd. And that's when I rang the bell with all my family, nurses, doctors, everybody there. It was an awesome day. So that was the journey. And this journey, I could have not done it without God, who was there with me.
Gracita, that is so, so inspiring. Your entire story from start to finish is so inspiring. And especially considering that you're a chemotherapy nurse and having to go through it yourself. I mean, you really have the empathy and compassion to do that. And that is, again, just amazing, just amazing. And Dr. Jones, you are just as amazing and just as present throughout this entire journey, which is so exciting. Can you share a little bit about Gracita's journey and like kind of how you came into the picture and how your first interactions were and all of that? I'd love to hear it.
Thanks, Sanya. You know, Gracita, you give so much as a nurse and you give so much as a mother. Whenever we get to work with women like Gracita, the energy is endless, right? So Gracita's story is a little bit unique. It's unique in that, as she was sharing her initial imaging, her initial biopsy, nothing said cancer, but something didn't sit well in our gut. It just wasn't quite adding up. And as Gracita can share herself being a chemotherapy nurse and working with cancer patients, it is not enough to just sit there and say, "Oh, this is negative, you're going to be fine." No, we did more extensive testing, and thank goodness we did. because then we were able to find, actually, yes, that is a breast cancer. And only after doing that further testing, after having a more extensive removal of that mass that she felt, of that lump that she had, we were then able to show that it was cancer and offer her the treatment that gives the best chance of making sure cancer doesn't ever come back.
Again, like this is so inspiring to hear, and hearing both sides of this and seeing you guys seem like you guys have such a great relationship, which is even more exciting. And I'm sitting here and I'm hearing you guys talk about how, speaking so highly of each other. It seems so amazing. So Gracita, can you talk a little bit about how your experience as a nurse played into your diagnosis and your journey? How did you feel like being a nurse kind of translated into your journey?
Well, being I'm gonna say being a caretaker, a caretaker of patients like me. They were there. I've not taken care of any other patient, but lymphoma, all type of other cancers I've taken care of. I've seen some patients from the beginning when they have question, or they have an abnormal labs, and then they come in, and after they've done the biopsy, immediately we take them to IR. They do the biopsy, and then they get the result, and then we start treatment. Well, in my case, it was not that. In my case, it was like, hey, we did mammogram, we did ultrasound. I mean, we did a MRI. It wasn't until surgery, which was like 4, 5, 6 months later, that the diagnosis came. For me, what I would do for my patients, keeping my patients with a positive lookout, always shaping the thoughts, shaping my mind, so that, because I believe, well, let me just say, I have a little psychology background. And we did cognitive therapy. They said, what you think here is what happened to the rest. So, and also believing in God, also that makes a big difference and the outcome for me or my journey. So I see myself as a patient. So I said, whatever my would need at that time. So this is what Gracita would be doing for the patient, Gracita. Gracita can take care. But however, even with that, it just make me more throughout this journey more humble, and to see the outcome of my journey, and see the outcome of many of my patients, is a different. And so for the patients, I am there physically, emotionally, psychologically, experientially, if I can say that. I feel like I'm more present right now, just knowing what my patients are going through chemotherapy, or not knowing, the outcome, or knowing what the outcome will be, because a lot of them, they have a final diagnosis and they have a final prognosis, and that makes a big difference on how the treatment goes for them, and how they look at the future. Thankfully for me, I started with a positive looking out, because, like I said, when I met Dr. Jones, I said, Dr. Jones, she said, well, we just gotta do everything. Sorry for mimicking your voice, because that's what she said.
She's not wrong. Gracita is not wrong.
She said that I don't have to worry about anything, but I told her, first of all, God is in control. What I was in control of is found the lump, and God allowed me to find the lump, and God has placed someone on my path to say, go to Dr. Jones, and now God has found Dr. Jones, so the rest is in God's hand, and what He's gonna use for Dr. Jones to use to take care of this I would say I don't ever use this word toward me. I don't use the word cancer toward me. Like I try never to associate the word, not because I'm in denial, but I believe there's power in the word that are spoken out of my mouth. Speak it out there with my name.
And Dr. Jones, like kind of going off of that and talking about a little bit about treatment plans, when you are diagnosing a patient and when you're creating their treatment plan, how do you feel like are able to individualize it patient by patient? How does that work? How can a physician kind of tailor that plan and make it like a patient by patient basis?
There is this component of being mindful of how other people think and how that person can internalize their own feelings and the feelings that they receive from others.
Mhm.
So in the world of breast cancer, there are very different treatment modalities. There are very different treatment recommendations based on both the size and what we see on the tumor itself. A breast cancer that has estrogen versus a breast cancer thing called HER2 or HER2 versus a breast cancer that has none of those things, also called triple negative, are all treated differently. When it comes to following the newest, most up-to-date guidelines and research on which medicines to give, and then how to partner that with surgery and partner that with radiation, all of that is tailored for a woman. But even more than that, as Gracita was sharing, it is so important to see what our patients are going through, what their journey holds. And for Gracita, that includes a husband that she's been married to for, was it 14 years, Gracita, that you shared?
12 years.
12 years. She has a wonderful young son. And even when she's not these roles, she's a friend, she's a family member. And when it comes to work, she's a caregiver and she takes care of other patients with cancer. And so all that to say is that Gracita's treatment plan, one was, we do not stop until we actually figure out the diagnosis. And then two, treating it the way it is, but when we finally figured out what it was. And then three, with Gracita, wanting to give 110% is easy because she gives 110% to everybody every single day.
I can see that. And also, Gracita, you're mentioning God, and you're mentioning religion and family. And how do you think that religion and family have played into your treatment and into your journey? Because it's I hear you mentioning God over and over again, and I think that religious aspect is very involved in your journey.
Definitely. Oh my God. Without God, I don't think I would be the patient Dr. Jones wanted. I think she would say, this is the first time I'm kicking out this patient.
But never, Gracita, never.
But my faith, I would say, is the foundation of how I took in everything. Like knowing that I release all the control to God, and I did not. I believe that I'm a Christian, and so in the Bible it says that when you're carrying a load that's too much, God will take it for you. And one of the like a little story about footprints, about a man who was walking down the beach, and during the walk he saw footprint, and during a difficult time he only saw one footprint, and then he said, God, why did you leave me when I was going through the most difficult time? And the answer was, when you saw the one footprint, I was carrying you. And I feel like God was carrying me throughout this whole time, using all the angels, my doctors, my husband. Oh my God, I have no word to say about this man. During that time, my mom was living with us and she got ill. I mean, she was home. She was not sick, in hospital, but she developed early dementia. And so my husband was like a full caretaker. Uh, he was a nurse at home, and he was a nurse at work because he's also a nurse. And so he is awesome. I feel blessed beyond measure, what God has done for me through this journey. And I believe that even my church, after 8 days after the surgery, the first breast surgery, I would go to church because I work as a worship leader. I couldn't lead service or anything, but I would go to church. I couldn't walk, I couldn't sing, but I'd be there, and they always said, "Wow, it's an inspiration." But for me, through that, I wanted to be wherever I could be, could get my strength from, wherever I could find my support. I wanted to be around those people, and it's so important to have that during this journey, because being a nurse, I have seen people who does not have that support, and I
Mhm.
definitely understand the meaning of having, or the importance of having, that support. And so, yeah, it's like you asked before, that helped me also to just be more present with my patient and give him that extra support.
And it seems like your compassion is showing so much as you talk. I can tell that you just radiate this joy and this excitement and this empathy and compassion. I can see it so much just even as you talk. So my question is, how did you get into chemotherapy nursing specifically? Like, what has your journey been to getting to where you are today career wise?
Oh, career wise, when I got out of high school, I wanted to be a medical doctor, like Dr. Jones. But um, because of first, my parents, we are from Haiti, so my
Mhm.
parents, there were minimal wage workers, and so because of lack of understanding the culture, and so I couldn't go because they're like, "Oh, we can't afford for you to go to medical school." But I did not know all that I could use to do it. So I worked at a assisted living, and then at one time they had a story on the news how people are abusing elderlies and at a nursing home, and I'm like, wow, how horrible that. And then so that's when I decided that I'll just go to nursing school, because I don't want to, these people, they don't deserve to be treated like that. I was doing my pre-med classes. You just start with the regular classes. And so I started to go to nursing school. That was a journey too. I worked as an orthopedic nurse first. And then as a side job, nurses never have enough jobs. And so I started working at an oncology unit at that hospital, and that's where I developed my love for oncology patients, and I really enjoyed it. And I was working in Louisiana, and I moved here as an oncology nurse, and I love it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for that. Thank goodness for that. Gracita
Yeah.
makes a world of a difference for our patients.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Dr. Jones, I mean, your journey as well, similarly to Gracita, it seems like when you're talking to patients, like it seems like, second nature at almost like the way that you're attacking the problem, attacking the treatment plan. It seems, I can tell that that is something that has really, really shaped kind of how you are as a physician. So can you talk a little bit about why you went into oncology and
Yeah, thanks for the question, Sanya. I think that as a first generation college student and a first generation doctor, when I first entered into the world that is medicine, one, I was just grateful to be there, right? I was grateful to be there. A little bit more, my mother is a single mom, and it was just, there was a lot of things I never thought could be possible for my own life. But when it came to finally getting to achieve that dream, and when I did get to become a doctor, when I was working with patients, I found myself surrounded by the question of why. There are people who smoke and never get lung cancer. There are people who may use alcohol and never have bad things happen to their liver. People may be born with a gene and never get a breast cancer, but their daughter may get a breast cancer. We don't know why cancer happens to the people it happens to. It is nothing they did wrong. It is, yes, we know there are some links with, diet, and maybe there's some links with, drinking or smoking, but it doesn't mean you're going to get cancer. It's why does this happen? That is what kept me going. and why I want to give 110% to my patients, just like Gracita. Gracita did nothing wrong. There's no reason that this was supposed to happen to her. And it doesn't matter if she did do anything else, smoke, drink, etc. It doesn't matter. Gracita didn't, but in any case, even if she did, even if she did, we still don't know why it happens. So that's why I'm in this space, Sanya.
Wow. Yeah. That's so interesting that you talk about that. I think when we talk about cancers and we talk about, just like chronic illnesses as well, like I think the biggest thing that people highlight is drinking and smoking are the main causes of cancers. And these specific things that you're doing, X, Y, and Z, are the main causes. So I'm really glad that you said that. There's this aspect that the scariest part is that there truly is no control that you can have over this disease when it comes to why it's happening. There's no specific preventative measures that you can really take. And I think that is the scariest part, is not knowing whether it can happen to our children or whether it can happen to us. And I think hearing you guys talk about attacking treatment plans and how you are talking to patients, I think that it's just very, very inspiring.
Thanks, Sanya. I think all to that to say, though, we always want to encourage people to do all the healthiest things they can. Let's not even absolutely, but staying on top of mammograms, making sure we have a family history, being very protective or very aware, I think is very important.
That was actually my next question to you guys is what measures can patients take to ensure that they're constantly checking in with themselves, constantly going to the right visits, going to see the right doctors? Like what advice can you give to patients?
I have one sentence I love to share. It is, be aware of your own body. Mm-hmm. You know what's not normal. Gracita knew what was not normal. And when Gracita still did all of her tests and we did everything, I then also had to say, wait, no, this is still not normal. And it was asking why is how we got our answer.
Like my kind of last question for you both is, what is one piece of advice or one, tidbit of hope that you can share for patients that have maybe just received a diagnosis or going through this journey right now? What can you share with them from your experiences?
As a patient, I would say, don't give up. I would also say, listen to your doctor. I would also say, if you know, or like for the first part, you said, what you tell patients before you went into this question is, if you feel something is there, don't be afraid to find help. And going through this journey, I would say, if you don't have support, don't be afraid to ask for support. Don't be afraid to tell family member or a friend that you need support, because yourself, you can't make it to this journey. And so you need that surrounding support, external, from the medication you get in, your doctor, the nurses that you're working with. You need some people from outside to really embrace you. So if you don't have those people, I would say reach out to your oncologist, because they will lead you to the right group of people, because they have a lot of support group out there that will give you that support. Definitely believe in God. He is a miracle worker.
So once again, thank you both so much for joining me today. It's been truly amazing hearing about your stories. And again, just seeing the way that you guys talk about the jobs that you do, and seeing how with so much passion and so much energy. And again, like I really hope that anyone out there that's listening or that's watching can really resonate with that, and just know that how passionate a breast cancer team, like a health team, can be, and how much they truly care about, making sure that your treatment plan is so individualized and so specific to you, and how important that is as well. So once again, Dr. Jones and Gracita, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been such a pleasure talking to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for listening to our show. I would like to acknowledge that all of the information on our podcast are from personal experiences and are not a substitute for professional medical advice. You should always contact your medical care team. If you're looking for specific topics or would like to be a guest on our show, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is laura@survivingbreastcancer.org. Until next time, keep on thriving.